and welcome to another concept video of Dissect Edu Solutions. This is a concept video on decimal fractions. And if you have not already seen the DIY activity, then I suggest that you watch that video first and then proceed with this video. So what are decimal fractions? We already know about fractions, which is essentially used for expressing parts of a whole. And the way we do it is by talking about it in terms of numerator and denominator. So a fraction like 3 by 5 is used for denoting 3 parts out of 5 parts of a whole. Now, what is a decimal fraction? Let us look at it. But before that, I want to talk about the great Indian mathematician Aryabhatta. So Aryabhatta is the mathematician who lived around 1500 years ago, and he was the one who has developed this decimal system. Now, decimal fractions are somewhere in between fraction and decimals, but it is a very important thing to understand what a decimal fraction means. The decimal system is actually very easy to use, and it is much more powerful when compared to fractions, in the sense that you can do very complex calculations in decimals very quickly compared to fractions. So how do we use decimal systems? What does a decimal system means? That is something which will get cleared once you understand how we convert a fraction into a decimal fraction and how that gets converted into a decimal number. Before him, almost all mathematical calculations would have happened using fractions and nothing else, because there was no decimal system. So let us try and understand what a decimal fraction is. So imagine we have two fractions, 3 by 5 and 1 by 2. Now, by themselves, they tell us very little about what their size is and how they compare to each other, or what would happen when we add them and subtract them. So one way to visualize them is, actually by drawing pictures. If we have a circle and if we make 5 parts and select 3 out of them, then that is a 3 by 5 fraction. And if we have the same circle, if we cut only in 2 parts and select one of them, that is a half fraction. Now let us look, how do we convert these into a decimal fraction? So the idea of decimal fraction is very simple. All you have to do is get a 10 in the denominator. So no matter what the fraction is, try and get a 10 in the denominator, of course, without changing the value of the fraction. So for 3 by 5, what would we do? We will multiply both numerator and denominator by 2, because 5 into 2 will give us 10. And because we will be multiplying denominator by 2, we have to also multiply the numerator by 2. And we will get the fraction 6 by 10. We are just finding an equivalent fraction, but the fraction is such that the denominator is 10. Same way for half, we can do the same thing, 5 by 10. Now, I will just cover quickly where we are, why I said that decimal fractions is somewhere between decimals and fractions. Now, 6 by 10, if we stop here, then this is a decimal fraction. But if we do one more step and write it in a decimal form, which will be 0.6, if we do it in the next step, then that is called as a decimal. So you see why it is important to convert a fraction to a decimal fraction, because it will give us what the decimal number for that fraction is. So now if you want to compare or add or subtract, you can very easily do with these equivalent fractions. So 6 by 10 is greater than 5 by 10, and therefore 3 by 5 is greater than 1 by 2. Same way you can do addition. 6 by 10 plus 5 by 10 would give you 11 by 10. And even subtraction, 6 by 10 minus 5 by 10 would give you 1 by 10. So in short, decimal fraction is just the same, the equivalent of the fraction which has been given to you The only thing that you have to remember is when you convert the denominator into the number 10, then that is called as a decimal fraction. Hope you understood this concept. If you have not understood anything, feel free to go back and listen to it again. Hope you like this video. Thank you.
All the materials used in this activity are available in Dbox along with other learning and teaching aids. For more information on Dbox for home use, school program and CSR program, visit the link given in the description of this video. If you found this video helpful, then please hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you have still not subscribed to our channel, then do subscribe and click on the bell icon to get all updates. We hope to see you in our next video. Happy learning!